Hi everyone, Miss Clingan here. I hope you've all been enjoying the lovely weather this week. I've been out in my garden almost all day today. The sun is just beautiful. I hope you're all enjoying it where you live. Today I've been thinking about what book to read, so I've chosen one that was written by KNAPMAN and illustrated by CORT. It's called Little Ogre's Surprise Supper. Let's read it and see what the surprise is, shall we? This is my mum. She's beautiful, isn't she? And tomorrow is her birthday. She's going to be 103. I spent yesterday decorating our cave and getting everything ready for the party. But I'm also going to cook her a surprise supper as a special birthday treat. The problem is that Mum is a fussy eater. "I don't eat kings," she says. "They're too rich." "I don't eat princesses," she says. "They're too sweet." "I don't eat knights," she says. "I don't like tinned food." And the only time she ever ate a wizard, in a fancy restaurant up in town, it did extremely peculiar things to her tummy. So I was glad to find Jack. Just look at him. He's fresh, there's plenty of good meat on him, and he smells delicious. "I want to have you for supper," I said. But then Jack did a funny thing. He didn't scream. He didn't run away. He didn't try to hide. He said, "Oh, thank you. No one's ever had me to supper before." And he gave me a big hug. I think he may have misunderstood me. He was certainly very cheerful all the way home. And we had such fun at the party. Jack was brilliant at pass the castle and pin the tail on the dragon. Usually, Mum doesn't like me playing with my food, but this time I couldn't stop myself. I took Jack up to my room and showed him all my toys. Then we went into the garden to feed my pets. They liked Jack so much they rolled over and he tickled their tummies. No one's ever done that before. Soon it was time to get supper ready. Somehow I wasn't looking forward to it as much as I'd been expecting. "Don't worry," said Jack. "It must be boring washing vegetables on your own. I'll help you." So we washed them together. "Is there something the matter?" he asked. I must say, Jack did look a bit surprised when I put him into the cooking pot. "I always wash my hands before dinner," he said, "but I don't usually have a bath as well. You ogres must be very clean." I was sharpening the knife. I thought it was about time I explained something to Jack. But before I could get the chance, he said, "You know, there aren't any other children where I live, so I don't get to play with anyone very often. Today has been the best day ever." And that made me think of all the times I asked people if they'd like to play with me. They'd usually scream and run away and try to hide. It's a funny thing. Chopping onions always makes me cry. But there are times when you have to do things that are very difficult. This was one of those times. So I got on with cooking supper. And that day, you're going to hate me for this, that day I cooked, but really I didn't have any other choice. That day I cooked my mum a supper. I mean, what would you have done? That day, I cooked my mum a supper of vegetable stew. Surprise! Mum said it was the best meal she'd ever eaten, and I had to agree. After all, it's not every day you have your best friend for supper. That book was fabulous! Did you like the surprise at the end? It really made me giggle. I found it hard to keep myself composed until the end. I hope you enjoyed listening to that as much as I enjoyed reading it. Let's have some questions and see if you're paying attention. Question 1. What happened when little Ogre's mum ate a wizard? Question 2. What was the name of the boy that little Ogre found? Question 3. Can you think of a different ending to this book? Have a go at writing one. Well done today, everyone. That was a really lovely book to read to you all. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Join me again tomorrow and make sure you're keeping happy and healthy and safe and stay indoors. Maybe not indoors, but at least at home. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone, and remember to behave for your parents and carers. And I'll see you tomorrow for another book. Until then, bye!